Hello guys, so towards the end of December, I decided to do something a bit different. So behind me is my farm that I've planted sukuma wiki there. So towards the end of December, I decided to buy a different variety of sukuma wiki. So back then I used to try planting collards from Simlo. And I don't know what used to happen because whenever I planted, sometimes they will grow, but at some point they started, I think it was dumping off that we finished them before I even transplanted them. So when propagating the seeds, the success rate was around 40%, which was not quite impressive with me. So I decided to try another variety. Of course, it is still collard, but an improved variety. This one called Tausi F1. So Tausi F1, compared to the price of the normal collards, the normal collards goes for 200 shillings per 50 grams, and 25 grams goes for like 25 grams goes for 150 shillings. But you see, for this, I bought Tausi F1, the same weight, the same mass of seed, that is 25 grams, which is sold at 150 for the normal collards. I bought it at 1,800 shillings. You see that? Almost 10 times the cost of the normal collards. So what attracted me towards buying Tausi? Initially, I've heard of Mfalme F1, which have had a good impression in the market. Like the review that I get from different customers, from different buyers, is that Mfalme is one of the breeds which are one of the varieties which are doing well, and customers or the consumers are really praising a lot. So because I could not find Mfalme, which is also an F1 generation, I decided to go for another variety, which was Tausi F1. So I think Mfalme is from another company. Uh, to me, they sounded the same because since they are all F1s, so I decided to pick Tausi F1. So I placed it in a nursery bed. So I think in December, in the beginning, not even the end, the beginning, in the beginning of December. So this was the nursery where I planted the Tausi F1 here. This is the nursery. So after something like a month, towards the end of December, that is 28th, around 28th, around 28th, I started transplanting. So, so I think, yeah, 28th, 29th, that's when I started to transplant towards the end of December, when people were still on Christmas season. I started planting. Before that, I used to collect manure. I think some of my videos that I've posted, I used to collect manure from the roadside of the road, because we're just located alongside Kisumu Busia Road, where most people tether their animals. And besides that, I also go to the market to collect this market-based waste. You see, like here we have the sugarcane peels. We have the tomato remains. I don't know whether how they are called, these tomatoes. Here we are having machungwas, like the machungwa and the maembe, all of them. So I pick them, bring them here for decomposition. And something interesting that I realized is that when I bring them to decompose them here, there are these waste-friendly, there are these waste-friendly flies that are called black soldier flies, which are used to feed the chickens, and they are always bought very expensively at I don't know, I think the CP sells them at, I think, 2,000 and above per eggies, they're called eggies. So, but funnily enough, when I come to decompose my waste here, I find some of them in my waste. Like, for example, let me show you some. I have this. This one is a black soldier fly larvae. I don't know the Insta because I'm not quite well with the science of the insects. But I think, yeah, there is another one here. You can see it. Yeah, here. I think I've been, there are many here. So I think they have been very helpful for decomposing my 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 organic waste here. So back to the story. So earlier on, I used to collect that just before I even bought the seedlings. So back to the story. Just before I bought the seedlings, I used to collect these market-based waste. You can see here is my spade. Yeah. So I used to collect them and decompose them there. I decomposed them for almost 3 months. So then I decided to use them to plant my sukuma wiki. I wanted to go the organic way. One, because I love environment, and the environment, one of them is human beings who are going to consume my products. Secondly, I also love the environment in the sense that when we reduce the wastes that are on the atmosphere or are on the surface of the earth, at least we reduce the gases that are that are interfering with our atmosphere and with our, yeah, with with the atmosphere. So yeah, the likes of methane. That's why I try to pick the 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 cow dung and bring them here and decompose them. Now then, so yeah, that's why one of the reasons why I decided to go the organic way is because sourcing the fertilizer is very expensive. Like here, I think here in Sia, 1 kg of fertilizer goes for around 1 kg of fertilizer goes for around 150, 200 shillings. And for my farm, I think to plant all this sukuma wiki, I would need, I think, like 2,000 worth of fertilizer. But then, from the day-to-day collection of this organic waste, the collection of the fertilizer, I was able to collect much enough to help me plant this sukuma wiki that you are now seeing here. So maybe to get the difference between maybe just collecting manure and buying. So I used like 20 wheelbarrows to plant this farm. Yeah, 20 wheelbarrows. So 20 wheelbarrows, the locals around me sell a wheelbarrow of manure at 100 bob. A wheelbarrow of manure at 100 bob. And I used 20 of them. I used 20 of them in this farm. Just a quick calculation, that was around 2,000 shillings that I would have used if I bought that organic fertilizer. But then, these are waste. I would call them waste because I picked them from the atmosphere and used them in planting. And at least, I would say, to my side, I saved it because this was collected during my free time while I was not doing anything. That's when I collected them. And they are from the roadside, so I didn't pay for anything for that. So, since the time I started planting to date, I started planting on 28th, which went to almost 1 week after, which I think it was on Sunday. Then I finished this. The other ones were planted Sunday, 1 week later. So today, my sukuma wiki are about a month. My sukuma wiki are about 1 month old, and I would say that I even removed the first leaves just a weekend that have passed. The first leaf at least, and I was able to sell them to someone at least at 100 shilling. But you can see the result is not quite bad. As you can see, this is 1 month old sukuma wiki, and the leaves are already big. Okay, so well, some are still small, like for this side, which were planted a week later. They are still a bit young, and their leaves are not that ready. Some are even still small, but comparing to the bigger ones, at least I would say something is not going. Something is going on well. Unfortunately, or fortunately enough, I live in a home where we also rear chicken, and chicken and sukuma wiki do not go together because if you can see here, some part of it were eaten by chicken. They have been consumed thoroughly, to an extent that one day I came here and I found them on the farm, almost 20 chicken on the farm. If you can see, some of the leaves have been eaten out, like this one here. The leaves have been eaten out. The leaves have been eaten out, and these young ones that are here, the leaves were eaten out by the chicken. So then I decided to go an extra mile of fencing this place. So something I didn't tell you, that this is a home, my grandfather's home, and nowadays it's only my grandmother that lives here, and because she lives here, we cannot leave the home to go bushy. That's why I decided to farm here, and so I just decided to fence a section of it, not the whole home. Decided to fence a section of it so that I could use it. I could stop the chicken from accessing the farm. So yeah, that's so. And I think this fence, I used like 3,500 to install it here because I could not stand to see my sukuma wiki going down, bearing the fact that I've used a lot of money. Something interesting again. You see, towards the beginning of the month when I started planting the sukuma wiki, towards the beginning of the month when I started planting the sukuma wiki, see, we had a lot of sunshine. There's a lot of sun, a lot. So I also have other engagement during the day. Uh, I always go. Okay, I have some other areas of duty on the weekdays, from Monday to Friday, and basically I use my bicycle. So when I come back in the evening, every day, every day, from almost 10, not from 10th. Since the time I started planting this, I used to water these plants every day. There was no rain at all. Water was limited. Thank God, something came to my mind and I bought the tank you are seeing behind here. This one here. This is a 1,000 liter tank that I bought from the local hardwares here at about 10,000 shillings. Don't know if that price was fair enough, but to me, I saw it a bit fair because the local hardware is just close to here and I didn't use much money to transport it home. So it was a bit fair. So this tank here can hold up to 1,000 liters of water. But then there are these other small tanks, that are here that were broken sometimes back. I bought them. They were 200 liters, the tank, two of them. So I placed them somewhere and unfortunately enough they were knocked down. They were broken, but fortunately it's only the top that was destroyed, but the bottom was not. You can even see here I had a fitted tap towards there. So these three tanks were helpful to me. We get water. You see, we live behind us. We live just next to a school, Nyimbo Primary School, and the initiative of the county government of Siaya to dig boreholes, equip them with solar panels. Now that it was done just in the school that is next to me, it's Nyimbo Primary School, the community around were allowed to pipe it to their homes, and my father tried and did so, and here I have water. Yeah, we have a tap here. So this tap here, I use this pipe, the pipe here. This is a pipe that I bought sometimes back when I was doing online jobs. I bought it at around 2,000 shillings. It was 120 feet. So 120 feet from the point where the tap is to where the tank is, I use the pipe to connect that water. And this is how I get water to supply to my farm. Happily enough, I think towards the almost around 25th, rain started coming, and at least right now I do not water my plants. It was really a very big hassle because watering close to 1,000 plants using this water can is not easy. Remember, I have to dip them here, dip it here, have to dip it here, and pour to each and every plant. And these are over 1,000 plants. So you see, going those trips, somebody will wonder, why don't you use the pipe? The law of physics, the Bernoulli's effect. When I raised this tank, I thought connecting this pipe here to the farm would be very, very effective for me. But unfortunately, Yes, the pipe and the farm are very close and I can use that pipe. But then the pipe is a bit narrow. I think it's a half-inch pipe. And now that it is long and it is coiled, when you use it in the farm, it will be coiled at some point. So the moment the tap, of course, the water is coming out of the pipe, the pressure is it's not that much. Secondly, even though the pressure is not that much, when you connect the pipe to that water, it travels all the way through the pipe, which is almost 36 meters. The moment it gets to the other end of the pipe, the pressure is very low. And you can take their edges trying to water this farm. So that's the reason why I decided to be taking those trips, fetching water, going and pouring, coming back. It can take up to 1 hour of my time doing so. So guys, this is the journey, and at least right now, I will say today is Tuesday. By the end of Sunday, I will be able to make at least my first harvest. I'm looking forward to at least getting some 500 shillings from the first harvest, which I expect to proceed to maybe 1,000 as it goes. Also, another reason why I decided to use Tausi is because from the description I read when doing my research on the plants, on the variety to plant, it told me that at least you can harvest it for at least 1 year. So now that we are in January, I want to see if with good care, now that I'm using organic fertilizer, will I be able to harvest this up to December? I hope it will work, and if it doesn't, well, we'll get to try again. So, as I conclude this video, there are a few people that I want to appreciate and to at least say, to recognize at least that they made this success possible. One is the county government that came up with that at least funded the water project that is just in the school. Okay, it was a community water project that was funded by the county government. The water has served the community as part of the community member. I benefited on it, and it is now assisting me in watering the plant. Secondly, I am also thanking the government for the hustler fund. I said I bought this water tank at the local hardware. I used I used like 10,000 shillings, but 50% of that money, like 5,000, was a loan from hustler fund. Yes, I used to borrow. At the first limit, I was given 600. We used it for around 3 months. It was raised to 1,200. After 1,200, it was raised to 1,900 until when the bridging loan was launched, I was given a limit of up to 4,800 shillings. And I hope they are going to add it. But at least this is the result of Asla Fund. Then number 3, I also thank my father for funding the piping of the water to this place. Yes, I think that was a favor enough, although it's also assisting us at home to do the domestic chores, the domestic uses. The water is really helpful for me in the farm. Yeah, that's it guys. Thanks for watching. Follow for more fact. Thanks.